spirit, like what God cannot do does not exist, it is not a statement. For NSPPDians, it's not a statement. It's a war mantle. It's a war mantle. You know how it is that it's like saying to the king, like to the Oba, to the, as in you, there's nothing you cannot, there's no, as in authority, right? You understand? So he looks and he will live up to his integrity. Yeah. So when NSPPDians say what God, like when the scriptures say with God all things are possible. So it's our way of trying to let him know, sir, we can't be stranded. Yeah. We can't die now. Things can't go wrong. And every time people use that war mantle, every time people use it in prayer, you see changes. People say, oh, all I did was I met a situation. People don't understand how devastating life can be. But NSPPD has taught me that, be grateful for every moment. Because sometimes you hear people's problem. People coming and they meet situations, or their houses are burning, or maybe something loved one just went into coma. The only thing they remember in their head, they don't know how to call Jesus, they don't know how to pray, they don't know how to fuse the word together. Yeah. What God cannot do does not exist. What God can, because that's the only thing on their mind, and God hears them. And you tell me it's an ordinary statement, and you want to analyze the English in it, and you want to explain it away? No. Yeah. If people can use it and God answers them, leave it for God.
If people can use it and God answers them, leave it for God.
Leave it for God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Myself and my friend Mfwang Ekwo, my coach, have been doing the first series of With Chude events, Dear God, We Need to Talk. Yeah. And much of the conversations we have question traditional Christianity, conservative Christianity, old-time religion, so to speak, or at least the way that old-time religion is perceived. And that tour was inspired by one of the men who led me afresh to God, the former pastor and now heretic, Rob Bell. Yeah, he made me question everything that had been taught about God, about Christianity, about the world. But then, it didn't lead me away from God. It led me back to the reality that I call God. And it led me into a deeper appreciation. Instead of anger at the things that I had been taught, it led me into understanding about why the spiritual matters, why people don't even need to get it right doctrinally. People don't even need to agree on the doctrine. But we can agree on the necessity of godness. We can agree on the essentialism, God, that's a big word, of the spiritual. And when Pastor Jerry began to shed tears, that's what it was. I could feel, it's what Bishop Desmond Tutu has called holiness. The space became holy, because Pastor Jerry was speaking with compassion about the thing that drives him into this prayer revolution every day. He said, that place where people have given up, where they have no hope, where they even have hope, but they're yearning for something more, something that money, technology, social media, food, clothes, fame, likes, views can't give them. That space is the space of the supernatural. Rabel would say everything is the space of the spiritual, but some moments help us access it even deeper. And so for me, it doesn't matter if I believe in the specific way that this pastor prays, or that pastor worships, or this person speaks. What is important is that I understand that finding God, experiencing Godness, one of my most favorite verses in the Bible is, in Him we live, in Him we move, in Him we have our being. Coming to that place where you experience something bigger than yourself, vaster, is so important for us as human beings. We need to remember that we are part of something too big for us to understand. And what the NSPPD does is remind us what the catchphrase, what God cannot do does not exist, and what the other catchphrase is, I am the man, I'm the one that God saved, does is connects us to that vastness that we can sense exists far beyond our imagination. And so I'm excited by the revival that he has brought back, to the world of faith for so many Christians and non-Christians who had completely lost faith, completely disconnected. And I pray that all of us in our lives find the spaces for this revival and this reconnection to the essentialness that is God. Let's be human together.